Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is going to be the closing session of Dare to Be Great for Era of the Headset, and I'm super excited to have my speakers here. We've got Yasmin and Erika, and they're going to be doing a session called Invest in Yourself, Climbing the Mountain of Success Will Be Rocky. Take it away, ladies.
Hey everybody, how's it going? So this is kind of going to be a presentation on our experience, all the things that we've kind of gone through, especially in this last year, and just sharing a few tips and just what we've kind of done to find a little bit of success in our world. And I think it's going to be an enjoyable presentation. Lots of pictures. First thing I want to start off with is a quote. So now every time I witness a strong person, I want to know what arc did you conquer in your story? Mountains do not rise without earthquakes. This is such a good quote, as without having something rock your world, change doesn't come pretty quickly that way. And I think that was a big thing in us. So who are we? Here we are rocking our little beanies. So in regards to myself, my name is Yasmen Barnett, ENP as of this last session. I've been in public safety for over 8 years. I began as a dispatcher and worked up to supervisor before leaving and being part-time to be a district management associate with IAMRESPONDING, who is under Rapid SOS. I am a national conference speaker, especially after this last year. I am part of multiple committees, and one of the big things about me is I am a finder of silver linings. I've never always been like that, but it definitely took several things happening in my life for me to try and find the most positive outcome in any situation, and it has changed my mindset completely. So when we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. Erika, you're muted, I think.
Is it the headphones? Are you able to remove the headphones and then just use the microphone off of the iMac?
Sorry, everybody, it's just a small technical difficulty.
Yeah, Erica, it might be the headphones. So then on the iMac, go to your sound and make sure that the input for the microphone is the actual the i just the iMac, the default microphone. Okay, hold on just one moment.
So Yasmen can introduce me.
Oh,
Hold on,
there
hold
you
on.
are.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh.
No.
No, I need you to talk to me on the phone. I'm gonna I was gonna try to put the audio through. There. Hold on, because your audio is gonna go over pretty in just a second. Hold on. Try to do this so that there's not an echo. So hopefully there's not an echo. We'll try it though.
How about now? Is there an echo? Is there an echo? Is there an echo?
Yeah, there was an echo. Hold on just 1 minute. So for the audio on your side. Hold on 1 minute.
What?
Say something.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
I can hear you, Erica.
You're good.
You can hear me normal?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I was gonna let you just do the whole thing, Yasmin, because you know this.
And
Nope.
that's we do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, we were gonna wing it, and we joked about everything going wrong, so we were right. Okay. That's, yeah, fun times. All right, back to me real quick. So I'm going to skim over this really quickly because I think everyone had a chance to read it during all that. but no, I'm really proud that I'm the first EMP at my agency, and I'm enrolled in APCO's RPL, also the first RPL, and then spoiler alert, Yasmin and I are doing CMCP next week, so that's exciting to do that with her. I'm also involved in a lot of 911 organizations and committees, and I've been presenting all the way since 2021. It doesn't seem like that long ago, but it does. And I'm also a swim instructor. And fun fact, I worked for Dolly Parton in Tennessee. So, but this is my family through the years. So I have 3 girls, and I go to work to relax, but that's what I tell everyone at least. But this is an important part of my story, so that's why I wanted to bring it into my family. But I just love this, seeing the comparison, because my husband Chris and I have been together for quite a while, in 2008, and we've been able to grow a family. But he's always been my biggest fan, so that's been huge. But he's kind of been self-conscious about his weight, so he decided he wanted to get healthier and he wanted to go on this journey. So he tried a lot of diets, a lot of exercise. It just didn't work out for him. So he decided to do the gastric bypass. He's very vocal about it, so I have permission to share a story. So about 4 or 5 years ago, he decided, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to Mexico. I'm going to get it done. And meanwhile, we've been watching all the documentaries about the people that have gone through the journey so we can kind of prepare ourselves for how our life's going to change. And one thing I noticed was a lot of the couples that were together when the one person decided to start making the changes and the other person wasn't ready, they started growing apart. And I decided that wasn't going to be us. So I needed to figure out what should I do to better myself, because here's my husband trying to improve himself, his health for our family, because he wants to be around. So that's when I started looking to see what areas can I improve and in my career, because I'm very proud of what I do at 911. And then we also got healthy along the way. So that was fun. Meanwhile, he's putting our girls through jujitsu. He takes them to practice. He has them do competitions. I even tried it for a little while. So it's just a great bonding experience. So now we're, physically active and we're able to do these fun things together. And so meanwhile, he's paying for private lessons so my girls can do these competitions and they can be the best, because he's really proud of them and he's doing it for fun. And he kind of talked about doing a competition, but not really. But I saw how much he was studying it. He was getting into it. He was there cheering them on. And so I said, well, why not? And no, I could never do that. So long story short, I signed him up. And he freaked out. He was panicked. He was angry. He went through every emotion. And then he realized, shit, I'm doing this. So he started getting very serious about training, his diet, his exercise. He turned it up a notch. Everyone's seeing this other side of him come out that they'd never seen before. And I'm so excited because I'm like, I get to be your biggest cheerleader now. Last month, so just a few weeks ago, he got to compete for the very first time. And I think if you had told him 4 or 5 years ago that, hey, you're going to be competing in a jiu-jitsu competition, he never would have believed it. And I truly think that's important, to surround yourself around people who believe in you and see something in you that even you can't see in yourself. And, you're just able to push them to be their best self. So I'm really proud of his story. And I think that's what kickstarted my journey as well. So that's why I wanted to share it, because I'm very passionate about what I do. And I thank him for it.
So we're going to be taking some time to talk about a few steps we found success with in our journey, and they kind of include the following. So a lot of our success has come in the form of conferences, different committees, certain certifications, and resources. And so we're going to try to detail all of those. And the very first thing that we're going to touch upon is going to be conferences. So in looking at our comments, we actually have a poll up asking if this is your first conference. And for some people, it is a first conference. All right. So it looks like we have some votes coming in. Doesn't look like it's too many people's first conference, which is great. Awesome.
So there are a lot of conferences out there. So that's why we wanted to see whose first experience in the conference world was Dare to Be Great. But there are a ton of conferences, and these are mostly 911 based. But if you ever have a chance to go visit one, we highly recommend it, because it's such a wonderful opportunity to see what else is out there, because life does exist outside of the console. And we've been fortunate to attend quite a few. We haven't been to all of them. We haven't done the world tour yet, but for me, going to conferences in my career is just something that it was just exciting. It was, a chance to travel without the kids. And then you get to see a different side of the industry, and you get to see a whole other world that exists. So for me, I remember in 2018, I went to NPEF. That's for public educators. And I got to see Adam Tim speak. And it blew my mind that a former dispatcher was able to talk at a conference. Not that he couldn't do it, but just I always thought you had to be a doctor. You had to be like 30 years in your career. You had to be a knowledge expert. But just seeing someone who had a similar background as me really inspired me to look at conferences a little bit differently, not just being an audience, but hey, what if I want to one day present myself? So that's what happened. My agency said, you got to go to a conference one year. You're not going the next year. We need to pass it on to someone else. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to the conference and I'm going to present. So now I'm able to go and do something a little bit differently. So I got to go 2 years in a row, but the second year I was a presenter. So Navigator in Vegas was my first conference. It was insane because here I am stepping outside of my comfort zone, and it's, you know, in Vegas. And then I had some awesome audience members at the time. And then I signed up for another one right after that. I actually used the same session. So when I spoke in Texas just a month later, they actually chose my conference session for an encore. So I flew out. I had a 10-hour layover, got a couple hours of sleep, did 2 sessions, and then I got back on the plane and went back home. It was totally worth it. It's such an amazing experience.
And so in discussing Navigator, so Navigator Las Vegas was actually my very first conference, and so it's where I saw Erika. And during that whole time, I had already hit a period where I was burnt out. I'd already been a supervisor for about a year, and it had just taken a toll out of me. And so when I had the opportunity to go out to a conference, it was very refreshing to go somewhere and see all these different people, especially coming from a center where everybody's so burnt out, your staffing levels aren't that high, and so everybody's just kind of negative. And then to go out to a conference and actually see positivity and everybody enjoying your job, you kind of get that conference high. And then all of a sudden, about like 2 sessions in, all these different session ideas just started popping into my head, and I was like, okay, I think I'm going to submit next year. So the conference bug definitely hit. So I went home, I was riding this conference high, and that only lasted about a week before everything, you know, just reality in general just came back and the feeling of being burnt out. But I knew that there was a way that I could go about changing this. So here are pictures from this year, actually. I want to say last year, but this year is still not over. So
Yeah.
we actually presented for the first time together at Navigator for this year. And then we actually flew out to Nina just a little bit after, where Erika is going to be receiving a certificate, which will be shown later on. And I was actually part of the committee that was able to do that for her. And especially for me, that was such a quick turnaround, but we can discuss that in here just a few slides. Local conferences, also a great thing. This helped us kind of get to know our local colleagues, because with a national conference, yeah, several people will still make it out there, but local conferences are small enough that colleagues that aren't able to fly across the country can still make it to these small local conferences, especially if they're being held in their hometown. And we're from Florida. So in regards to that, we actually went out to Florida APCO this year. We're able to present this year, and we've kept in contact with several people that we've met at Florida APCO and super great friends that we've just been grateful to make this year.
I can't forget virtual conferences, obviously. They're a wonderful platform for people who aren't able to travel at all. Maybe there's not the staffing or the money available. So that's why we're so appreciative to have these different conferences available. Obviously, you guys know about Dare to Be Great, and Ready 22 just took place. So that's Rapid SOS every year. And then there is a local one, I say local, but it's out of Florida. One of our colleagues, the Gold Line Conference, so that's coming up. So there's a call for papers. So just a shout out for John, because I know he's trying to do great things in Florida. All right,
Here's
so
our actual picture.
Nashville, woohoo! All right, so not every session we turn in gets accepted. So I had that experience when I turned in, it was called the drowning epidemic during a global pandemic. I submitted it as a conference session, and it actually got not selected. I don't want to say denied, because a few weeks later, they emailed me and said, hey, have you ever thought about doing a research poster? We would love for you to do that with the same topic. So maybe it didn't really fit the session format, and they wanted me to do a poster, and I had never even thought of that. I thought this was for doctors. This was for someone that has a lot of degrees, because I just have a bachelor's. I'm not even Dr. Erika. But then I started looking into it, and IAED is very supportive. They helped me out through the entire process. So I started conducting research throughout all of Florida. and I turned it into a poster. It was huge. I got to talk about it at the conference, and then I'm now published in a magazine. So I never would have looked down this avenue before until they suggested to me. So I love that they were able to see something there that I never would have thought of looking for. And then from this opportunity, I've actually submitted a session for a different conference industry. So this will be the National Water Safety Conference, the National Drowning Prevention Alliance. So I'm going to take the first responder point of view in addition with the drownings that we have in Florida and present it to a different industry. So that's something I might not have done before, but now I already have great material and research I can present. So that's something coming up in the future. I actually have to work on that.
So this way, we actually tried to go above and beyond with Navigator, and we submitted 8 sessions. 8. It was a lot of time spent at Starbucks, especially since we live half an hour away from each other, and that was our meeting point, but 8 sessions. And we knew that not all 8 sessions were going to be chosen, and that's okay, because with failure and rejection, you get success. And that success actually ended up being 2 sessions. So we actually got news of 1 session, so Taming Wild Horses, that we got. And then we both kind of were perusing the Navigator agenda, just kind of looking through. And this other session came up sitting on a gold mine. And I just kind of read it and I was like, man, that kind of sounds a lot like the session title that we put in. And I called Erika and I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure we just got another session accepted. So that's how we found out we got a second one accepted. So again, with those failures comes success. And it's going to sound strange, but I look forward to being able to apply to certain things, scholarships, conferences, because there is going to be that rejection, but that feeling of success of getting one chosen is so much greater. Again, finding those silver linings, it just completely overtakes that situation.
I think another silver lining was we realized we don't have to do 8 sessions because that's 8 PowerPoints, that's 8 practices, that's a lot of coordination. And we joked that we would be, committed to a room the entire conference if all 8 did get accepted. But for us, we went all in because there's just so many great perks that come along with it. So that's why we went above and beyond. They probably got tired of seeing our name in the poll, but.
So fingers crossed, this year we actually submitted for NENA 2023, and we just did 1 session for this one. If we're able to get out to this one, it's going to be a big one for us because we'll be able to be recognized as EMPs, as CMCPs, and then being able to just present at an additional national conference. So we'll see what comes of this one, and if it doesn't work out, it's completely okay. We'll still put in for next year's and the following years.
That's not too bad for just going to NENA for their second time ever. So that's the way we see it. So I don't know if you have any Seinfeld friends or fans, but I love this because it's true. A lot of people are afraid of public speaking, but this says, according to most studies, people's number 1 fear is public speaking. Number 2 is death. So this means to the average person, if you go to a funeral, you're better off in the casket than doing the eulogy. So some people would never dream of standing in front of an audience and talking, and it is pretty embarrassing when your equipment doesn't work and everyone's watching you, but it comes with the territory. Oops. But we realize sometimes all you need is 20 seconds of insane courage, just literally 20 seconds of embarrassing bravery, and I promise you something great will come of it. So you just have to stick with it and then make it through, and it's amazing feeling. It's that rush, it's that high. But I do have to warn you, when you start presenting or start talking in front of groups, people will think of you for every opportunity. Like, who likes to talk in front of people? Erika and Yaz. So this morning I actually spoke in front of Florida's representatives. It was just 3 minutes, but I asked them to consider 911 dispatchers as first responders, just amend one of our state statutes. So that was a great feeling, being able to represent 911 on the Florida level for our county. So I was fortunate that I got thought of for the opportunity. I don't know how many other people were willing to step up, but for me, it was something I knew I had to do.
And
thanks for everyone to watch. It was a live stream, so I put it out there for everyone to watch. So hopefully more people start stepping up because we need people now. Oh, thank you.
And then just commenting on that, so and what Erika was saying, so public speaking was actually one of my biggest fears. And oddly enough, I actually grew up singing and was going to go to music school, but stage fright, complete 100% stage fright. I don't like it. However, once I started teaching at our academy to our new hires, kind of got into that. Once you just kind of take that leap of faith and just go for it, it's exactly that. It's that next rush that you're looking for, and a good rush at that. So our second thing is committees, getting involved. So like Erika mentioned with her discussion this morning and speaking in front of legislature and being able to just convey those new things that we want, and just that just going in, speaking on behalf, and then now in committees where you can share your voice on a bigger picture as well.
And I think it's important to get involved at every level. So I'm part of my agency's wellness committee. We recently had a lot of extra money left over in our Cigna wellness money to spend. And so I asked if we could invite Adam Tim from the Healthy Dispatcher to come speak on dispatcher resiliency. So it was a wonderful opportunity. We wouldn't have had the training money necessarily. So by showing up on those committees, I was able to voice, hey, this is something dispatch desperately needs. And then other people requested massage chairs. That's actually like the massage chair that we have in our quiet room. It's amazing. And then I requested yoga ball chairs. So when our agency was ready to start spending money, I was right there with the ideas like, hey, and we're getting a lot of nice stuff. So it's nice that if you have a voice or an advocate representing you, even at your agency level, you can get things done. So I highly encourage being active at your agency. Another local committee that helped me was joining Toastmasters. So right when I was trying to decide, do I want to really do the speaking thing? Because training in front of your peers is one thing, but speaking in front of large audiences is another. Toastmasters was really great. So that's something that I learned about at a conference. So I always like to mention that whenever I get a chance, because its sole purpose is to help you become a better public speaker. And it's something that you might not think that's what I want to do, but if you're serious about it, it's a great tool and a great resource to have virtual and in person.
So along with that are all these different committees and different agencies, is what I will call them, that are available to volunteer for. So right here, we've got APCO International, NINA, and especially 911 Wonder Woman, which were both part of the Florida board. But with regards to NINA, I actually found success in being part of their Women in 911. They're part of their WIN committee. And so I'm part of their scholarships and recognitions committee. And that was the way that I was actually able to get to NINA this year, was being able to present a certificate of recognition for several women in 911, which Erika was one of our winners this year. And I politely stepped back because I knew that it wouldn't be fair for me to look at her submission and make a decision based on that. However, I'm part of all the other women that were part of that committee. And in looking at it, they were able to actually choose Erika on their own and recognized her for what it was, being one of the women in 911.
Yeah, I just love Yasmen's integrity, because that really says a lot about your character of, hey, I'm not going to vote for my friend because that's not right. We want to give other people the opportunity. So we just wanted to make that disclaimer because it does look a little suspicious. She's on a committee. I won, but there were 4 women total. I'm also on APCO International's Health and Wellness Committee, so it's good for a year. I'm really excited about that. And then the subcommittee from that is for training and conferences. So being a part of that, they expect us to submit a session. So I did just put in for APCO 2023. That's going to be in Nashville in August. So I was able to submit an idea I had. It's something I'm actually working on for APCO RPL and my service project. So I love how everything's starting to come together, because as you start to work on different projects, they start to overlap, and you can kind of, I don't want to say cheat and, copy homework, but I'm using, my work I'm already doing from another area, and I'm able to apply it to that. And that was something that I'm really passionate about. So I'm excited about this session if it gets approved. And I don't know yet, the deadline's coming up.
So this kind of leads us into our third step for success, certifications. And these are very highly valued in our industry. Success is no accident. It's hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you're doing. And in our need for change, we found more love for our industry and what we wanted to do and how we wanted to be at least a semblance of change within our industry.
I was actually deciding if I wanted to go back to school and work on my master's towards public administration, and then just kind of deciding what the workload, and then looking at professional certifications. I chose the certification pathway because I felt it was more relevant to our industry. So, sometimes you have to make a decision. Do you want to go back to school? And then what are you going to study? And how's it going to affect your job? So for me, I actually got accepted into a program and I was about to start, but then I realized that I would get more out of a professional certification. So I actually withdrew from a program. But my goal is to be a doctor one day, or have a doctorate at least. So I joke about being Dr. Erika, but that is a goal eventually down the road. The alphabet soup certification. So we don't have all these certifications yet.
Until we take it over. But as you can see, there are several available out there that, you could take a certification a year for the next 10 years and have a range of letters after your name. So far we've been able to manage quite a few. It's taken some time and it's taken quite a bit of studying and hard work and dedication and sacrifice, absolute sacrifice on our ends to just try and get what we can, but just to stay knowledgeable, just to keep up to date with everything that's happening in our industry. And again, trying to be that some little piece of change that we can add to it.
So like Yasmin said, hard work does pay off. This was, I think, one of the most stressful tests I've ever taken. And I don't think it was until after we took it that we realized a lot of industry professionals don't really do their EMP until they've hit like 20, 25, 30 years. And like we said earlier, we're only like, I want to say halfway, but I mean 14 and 8 years in. So that's not too shabby. So we're very proud of this because it is a benchmark in the industry for your knowledge on the technical and the operations side of the house. So it's something that we knew is recognized in the 911 world. So we're very proud of that. Oops. So I mentioned I'm part of APCO's RPL program. So if you're not familiar with it, it's a year-long course, the Registered Public Safety Leader program. And when you submit your application, you have to submit a service project idea, so a way you can benefit the industry. So you don't just take the coursework, you actually have to give back to the industry on the local, state, or national level. So I actually came up with the Thin Gold Line 5K at my agency about 5 years ago. And that's something that's evolved every year. So now I'm working on developing it for the national level. So I'm very proud of that. So that's that was how I was able to get accepted to the program based off my service project idea. And then when I get finished next September, it'll be 128 hours.
So again, this is our coming soon. So this is our new challenge, which comes next week. Next Monday, we actually start the CNCP. And hopefully by the end of the week, we'll, I'll say it now, hopefully after hard work, we'll have more letters after our name. But again, being able to have this in order to contribute into our industry is one of the big key prospects for us of doing all this.
So I love these quotes because I think it's important to know that risk is the down payment on success. And sometimes it takes 10 years to get that 1 year that will change your life. So just keep going. It seems like a lot of work, but eventually it will pay off.
So again, some more tips for success: resources. It doesn't matter how many resources you have. If you don't know how to use them, it will never be enough. There are so many resources out there available for you in order to climb that mountain that you want, in order to get up to that success and be as successful as you want to be. It's just a matter of finding them and looking for them.
So one of the resources are training. Training is huge in our industry. So I used to be a training coordinator before my current position, and I really do love training. There's just a difference in doing one-on-one training and then teaching new hires in the onboarding process. But I love this proverb. There are hundreds of paths up the mountain, all leading to the same place. So it doesn't matter which path you take. The only person wasting time is the one who runs around the mountain telling everyone that his or her path is wrong. So we all have different paths up the mountain of success. Oops. So one of the training that's available out there is through the Denise Amber Lee Foundation. If you're not familiar with it, it has a wonderful backstory behind it, but they offer a lot of training. Their whole premise is for training and quality assurance for 911 centers, because there was a tragedy. Denise Amber Lee lost her life, and from that, her husband Nathan was able to create a foundation that focuses on training and doing quality assurance. So this is the next upcoming webinar. They have a lot of free training, and they actually will come to your agency and host a training. So that's something that if you're part of the process to do in-service or bring in training ideas, look for these outside companies that already do it. So you're not trying to come up with something and how can we fill 8 hours? I don't know. Let's just go over all the old policies. No, bring in something new and fresh into your center. Trust me, everyone will thank you.
Another big thing that has been able to kind of assist us in where we are scholarships. Everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. And if there is no fear, then it doesn't sound like there's going to be a risk there. And it's kind of hard to move forward on something that you don't fear, because fear is going to drive you to actually complete it. But in regards to scholarships, like I mentioned, several are out there. In particular is 911 Wonder Woman's Fireworks Scholarships and the Motorola Solutions Foundation. They are still open for submissions. So if you are able to apply, do it. Just do it. It's the best way to go for it. And you never know. You never know what will come of it, especially if you're putting your heart and soul into this submission and you just wake up one day and in your email, you've got an acceptance letter. There's nothing for you to lose. So just go ahead, put in for these scholarships, and may get you started on your new pathway into success.
I love scholarships because a lot of times our agencies don't have the extra training money or the training budget because it's not a required certification for your current role or even your upcoming role. So when you have these outside companies that are just giving money away, to me, it just seems like, why would you not apply for it? So that's something that we enjoy, and every scholarship we apply for, we don't get. But I see those applications and I look over them and I decide, okay, what can I write differently? How can I present this differently for the next one? And so I kind of build on it. So a lot of my applications look similar, but they're not all exactly the same, because if it didn't work one time, it's probably not going to work again. So I'm trying to reevaluate it and see what are they actually looking for. So on the national level, APCO does have a lot of scholarships. I did put in for the RPL on the national level. I did not get that scholarship. That's okay. It meant a lot to me. So I went ahead and paid the $1,000 out of pocket, because that's how much it meant to me that I do this program and I get this training, because it's something that's just invaluable. And then here's another way to go to a conference for a scholarship, the Call Plush Answer the Call Foundation. This already did close, but it's something to keep an eye for the next time it comes around. And then Nina just announced the 2023 Wendy Day Memorial Scholarship for the Nina Goes to Washington. So that's a great scholarship to look into as well. You have to make sure you meet the criteria. So make sure you read the fine print on everything before you just start applying for all the scholarships, because they are very particular.
I will say, though, that the Wendy Day Memorial Scholarship has closed. That was something that we just finished deciding on. But next year, feel free to apply, put in, just read that criteria.
So I said I didn't get the APCO on the national level, but I put in on the state level once I received that news, because my Florida APCO chapter had the scholarships, and I was actually one of the recipients. So that made me very happy that I was able to do that. So I'm glad I took a chance and did it, because, putting in a scholarship application is work, but to me it was worth it to get that refund back, because I told them I already paid, like, that's okay. So it made me really happy and proud, because my agency doesn't pay for it because it's not an accredited institution. So per policy, there's certain criteria that they have to follow for the reimbursement of tuition.
And just to highlight, and I'll highlight this one, especially because it was an amazing feeling to be able to present this to Erika, especially with our journey, and not having been a contributing factor as to her being chosen for this. But the fact that somebody else was able to see all the good that she's done, and not have my say into it was an amazing feeling. Because here I was with one of my closest friends who somebody else is seeing her light as well. And it was one of the best experiences. But with this scholarship with Women in 911, we were actually able to give away 4 scholarships to deserving women out there who had never been to NINA. And with these scholarships, we were able to actually highlight them and present it to them and just showcase them for what they were.
Yeah, it was kind of surreal being chosen because Nina did it right. They did a giant poster, with your face everywhere, and then they had like a big reception. But yeah, it was a great feeling being recognized for the work that we're doing to the industry. So you do have a chance to make a difference and be recognized for it.
So additionally, with this came our scholarships for our diversity and 911 leadership program. And this is actually how we were able to get to do our CMCP classes. In putting in for this, especially I'll say my part, I didn't expect much going in, because most times that I put in for something, I always try to imagine it as a win-win scenario. If I don't get it, I'm still doing very well in what I'm doing. But if I do get it, perfect. Another thing that I can add to my toolbox to now contribute continuously. And in diversity and 911 leadership program, we were both actually able to get this one, which was quite surprising for both of us. But to be able to do this together, especially, it's going to be a great journey next week.
Yeah, I think it was an amazing opportunity that came at the right time. The CMCP program is offered all over the country, so we chose the Florida location because it was obviously closer for us in Florida. But yeah, I really didn't expect to win, but I was interested in the management program because at my agency there are some management positions coming up. So for me, it was important to prepare the best I could professionally to get ready for any upcoming roles because that's how passionate I am about staying in the know on the industry trends. So I was excited because we could choose between 3 different certifications and we went for the manager one. So yeah, we're excited. It's going to be a great week of networking in person. It's not going to be an online class, so it's going to be exciting. And from what I can tell, there's going to be a big presentation that we all have to do together. So it'll be great. And they also wanted to mention that NINA has the Gold Line scholarships. That's another great scholarship for first timers going to NINA. I'm not sure how many they have. I want to throw out a number like 25 or 50. You might know different, Yasmen, but they have several. So sometimes it's not just one scholarship. Sometimes there's multiples of it. So just like this previous one, like we're part of a group of people that all won the same thing. And it's thanks to these generous corporations that we're able to contribute. That's how we're able to receive these funds through NINA. Sorry, my mouse is.
Additionally, with that, for EMP, I'm part of Tracy Elridge's On Scene First. I was actually able to receive a scholarship in order to take my EMP, which my agency at the time did not cover, which was amazing because I had actually put in for this previously before and did not get it. So in looking at my previous submission and now redefining it with what my goals were at the moment, a year later, and actually seeing why I was getting my EMP and what I wanted to have it for in order to contribute for my future within this industry, that kind of changed the way that my submission worked as it gave me some more clarity as to what I wanted to do and how I wanted to move forward. And in being able to receive that scholarship, I was actually able to get that EMP, but also kind of light a fire under myself because I knew that I needed to actually get this. And it was able to give me that passion in order to study and actually pass.
It's funny. I also won an EMP scholarship, but it was through NINA, not through On Scene First. So luckily for mine, it was a span of a bigger amount of time I could choose. So I picked the farthest away session. So I had more time to study. And then for Yasmen, she applied, got it, and like, oh yeah, it was like a month or 2 months later, you have to take the test. So for me, so make sure you watch those deadlines as far as when they expect you to do certain things. But yeah, that was kind of funny. But Yeah, it's another expensive test that, yeah, the agency, isn't able to pay for because it's not part of your current job classification. So that's what I was able to convey in my application as well. Because the positions that I'm in with the training coordinator and now in a support role doing the technical side of the equipment at my agency, they're classified at the dispatcher level. So I wanted to show my agency and the industry that the work I'm doing is worthy of something as such as EMP. So that way, the next time they reclassify it, they're able to elevate it to a higher status. That's my hopes, at least. All right, so podcasts. I think we know of a couple of famous podcasts within the trenches, one of our favorites. But there's all types of 911 podcasts out there. And I think it's wonderful just to be able to listen and learn. And, you get to hear from your peers, hear about the great things that they're doing out there in the industry. So, and then after we got our EMP, we actually got invited to be on an EMP podcast. I didn't know about this one until I got the email invite from Mark Fletcher. So that was a way to learn about another podcast. So that was a lot of fun because the whole premise behind this one is to interview the new EMPs. Like, why are you doing it? Why did you want to do this? So we got to share our story that way. And then that was a great opportunity to meet someone in the industry that already has a lot of connections and already knows a lot of things. So he actually invited me to do a panel with him at NINA. So we don't know yet if the session is approved. So that's something exciting I'm waiting to hear back on. But I mean, this is something I never would have done by myself or be able to have done by myself. So I'm really looking forward to see what happens with that. And if we don't get accepted, that's okay. We'll put it in next year and we'll try something different.
So a big thing with EMP, especially out there, is study groups. If there's anything that we could probably recommend is find a study group, and not just one, but join all of them, because they're all different and they all have so much to teach you. Just the same way as when you have a group of friends, everybody has their own experiences. Same thing with a study group. Everybody's got their own experiences, their own questions to share, their own practice exams. And that was probably one of the biggest things that helped me, was being able to see that diversity in the different study groups that were available out there, as it didn't let you just have one perspective, but many. And that completely changed the way that I was able to take that exam.
Oh yeah, I don't think I could have just studied the book of knowledge by itself. It's so boring and there's no way around it. But then having this study group on YouTube, I'm just always have it in my ear listening to it. And then if something didn't make sense, I would stop, look it up, and then I'd go back and listen to it. Like, okay, now it makes sense. So for me, it was just something that, I could always do no matter if I'm doing the dishes. There was no reason not to study. But yeah, like Yasmin said, having a different perspective from a different study group really helped. And I think what sealed the deal for me and told me I was ready to take the test was when I was at NINA. I did the EMP boot camp led by Louisa Lake. And when she had a Kahoot and I was able to, it's Kahoot's a little quiz you play on your phone. That told me, okay, you're ready for this. Cause I think I got like number 3. So that was the sign I needed. I don't know if you can read the little meme down here, but it's 4 people that look alike, and it says how multiple choice answers look when you don't study for the exam. So we highly recommend it. And there is a study group coming up January 6th. Oops.
Another big thing is webinars, especially 911 Wonder Woman. We've kind of put them out here. The Denise Amber Lee, there are several webinars out there. So if you're not able to actually make it to a virtual conference, but you would like to see something either live with one of the panels or in seeing a webinar that is available to you, they're always being posted out there, especially on LinkedIn, Facebook page. They're all available. Great resources of information, and especially those panels. I was actually fortunate to be part of Knowing Your Audience panel, and that brought, again, more perspective into this industry, and especially being able to have a great conversation with several colleagues. Again, these panels are available for you to view, and they're recorded so you can view them always later on. So networking is also a big thing. Networking is your tribe. So finding your tribe, love them hard. As you can see, we've got Sarah Weston here and Dominique Mathis. Great people who are so supportive, so just full of life, and have been able to kind of give us a lot of encouragement and a lot of positivity and a lot of love when we've been able to do events. And yes, Roxy, you are especially in that tribe. Thank you so much for that support. And that tribe doesn't have to be small. That tribe is ever growing. You can have more people in that tribe. It's just surrounding yourself with the people who are going to give you what you need and going to give you that support whenever you need just a voice to listen to you.
Yeah, I don't think the number of miles matter because we're instantly connected online, so it doesn't have to be someone at your job. I think we found the most support outside when you find the same like-minded individuals.
So 911 events. We've got quite a few that happened this year. Right at that top left corner was actually part of the Gold Line support. We actually went out to Disney Springs here in Central Florida. We had a bowling event. It was great to see a bunch of different colleagues come together, especially since we were actually able to see people from St. Cloud Police Department, who is a neighboring agency, who we don't get to do too many things with. And just to see them, meet them in person, great. You're always hearing them on the other side of the phone, but you never really see them face to face. Another good one is 9/1 Wonder Woman's annual Empower Pride. So that is actually in Orlando. It's a soccer event. We were, for the first time, able to do it as volunteers this year, and being able to just, again, be in a area where you can get with your colleagues. Work is always going to come up, and that's okay because everybody, again, has those different perspectives, especially if you're dealing with a situation in the moment. Now you've got a different voice from a different agency who can maybe kind of give you a solution to anything that you're dealing with in the moment. Again, building that tribe.
Yeah, this is an annual event, so go ahead and plan for next year for Orlando. I mean, it's just a great chance. The way I see it, we're gonna travel and go on vacation anyway. I mean, obviously Orlando's not very far for us, but like these other cities and events, you go on vacation anyway. So we just kind of roll it into if there's a conference going on. We've taken PTO to go do events that are very important to us because sometimes you're just not able to go on the clock, but then if you put in PTO, you can go do it. So it just depends what your goals are. So I think for Navigator, I mean that's been PTO for us because it's just something that we're very passionate about, and people think you're crazy for wasting your PTO, but it's not a waste if it's something you want to do and you want to be there and you're going to get something out of it. So it's all about perspective. But oops, sorry. Okay. So social media is huge for networking. We're both on LinkedIn. I don't know if a lot of people use LinkedIn just because I know some colleagues I've talked to kind of seem skeptical, like they don't really need it. It's just a different platform. So if you're not familiar with it, it's definitely more professional. And for me, it's a great opportunity to kind of showcase what I'm doing and get like-minded individuals to celebrate. So I like it. It's going to be definitely a different crowd. So always know your audience. So it's not going to be the same content you would share like on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok even. So just know your audience.
And with LinkedIn, a good thing I will add to that is it gives you the ability to connect with other people from other industries. I will say that before I went into the private sector, I actually reached out to several people that I had never met before. They had gotten in contact with me, had wanted to connect. Perfect. When it came time for me to consider that jump from the public full-time perspective to now a private side position, I knew that I needed to talk to quite a few people in order for me to kind of feel more comfortable in my decision. And LinkedIn opened that opportunity in order to be able to speak to several people and get a new perspective.
All right, so I did put the Tenacious Telecommunicators Triple T, that's a tongue twister, conference on here, because I think it's a great opportunity. If you've ever thought about doing public speaking, there is a conference coming up in 2024. It doesn't seem like we should be planning stuff in 2024, but this is the time for conference season to be planning sessions and getting everything ready. So that's something that we just put out there. I don't know yet if we're going to be doing this because it's in Virginia, but that's something, you know, depending on where you are, and if you want to take a vacation, this is a great way to start planning ahead for what you want to do. So I just want to give a shout out to everyone that's doing good work. So when we try to recognize a lot of different organizations and different groups throughout our presentation, because I feel like we're all part of the same tribe. So sorry if we left anyone out. That wasn't our intent, but just in this community, it's a different feel. So we want people that maybe aren't, or maybe they're new to the community and they're not sure who all's out there, to just kind of be aware. And then feel free to reach out to us if you're not sure what type of group or support you need. So, because maybe there's something you need that's missing from your agency and you're not sure who to go to. And it's a great way to just reach outside and then bring those resources in.
And finally, this is probably the most excited slide that we're both excited about, but our personal mantra. So 1 year ago, before we did any of this, before we even embarked in our journey, I remember walking down the hallway and again, being burnt out, didn't really know where I was going to go in my journey in success and what I was going to do. And I remember walking down the hallway and going to Erika's office, because I would kind of go and hang out on Erika's office when I was on day shift. And you know, I was always like, I want to put in for this, but I'm not really too sure about it. Or I want to put in for this conference, but I don't think I really want to do it. And so this mantra was born of just fuck it, just do it, just put in for it. And it was something that was completely liberating, being able to have that mindset of just, we each kind of, every time we said we wanted to do something, each other would be like, fuck it, just do it. Just put in for it. Mm-hmm. What do you have to lose? There's nothing. You win either way. If you put in for a conference and you don't get it, hey, you still got a job. You're still in a position that you love. If you get it, amazing, great. You've added to your journey and that success.
Yeah, just having the confidence to put yourself out there is everything, because you're not going to win everything that you put yourself out there for. I mean, failure is a part of success. So that's just, there's no way around it. So that's why when you're on the fence and you're like, well, I don't know if I can do this or not, fuck it, just try it. You're going to get experience. You're going to learn something from it. You either win or you learn.
So. And it's a hard mindset at first, because at first you're going to be fighting with yourself, because you're not going to want to do it those first couple times. And it's okay. It's the same way with learning a new skill. It's going to be so hard at first to just kind of let go. But once you do it quite a few times and you just realize, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to put in for this, or I'm just going to do this. And you just take that leap of faith. It just makes it so much easier. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but we've both got necklaces on, and it's actually fuck it in Morse code. It's something that we like to wear. So I had an in-service today with Rapid SOS, and it's my little necklace that just kind of gives me a little bit of confidence in order to talk to new people. I never was one that wanted to talk to new people. I was always so scared, so timid, and it was just something that I did not want to be a part of. I mean, I've spoken to so many people today, so many people that I would have never approached, I would have never talked to. I mean, I've been talking to them virtually because I work remote, but that's not something I would have done a year ago. I never would have approached anybody and introduced myself and said, I'm the person who's been talking to you. And just giving that necklace a quick little rub and just continuing on, it, again, that little confidence, but it's that confidence you instill in yourself of just, fuck it, we're just going to do this and it's going to go great.
Thank you, everyone, for this awesome opportunity to share how we've been able to climb the mountain of success. It's been a wonderful journey. We have so many more great things in the works. So if you do follow us on social media, we'll start rolling them out, because there's a lot of things we couldn't put in the presentation because it's still in the works. But we're just very excited because the journey is just getting started for us. It seems like once you climb one mountain peak and you get to the top, you're like, oh, there's another one over there. And then you go and you climb a little farther and farther. So you just don't know where the end is. So it's been amazing.
Thank you again, everybody, for especially those that we've been able to meet, make contact with, have been able to connect. You're part of our journey. You're part of our success story. You've been able to share a little bit with us that we've been able to put back in our lives or have just continued to use forward as just a different perspective. And I use that word perspective because it is such a big difference in everybody that we've met, and everybody has something to add. So thank you.
All right. Well done. Excellent work. Awesome stuff. I love it. The journey, just everything. I mean, just the way the both of you are talking, that is really kind of here or there, might not have been your comfort zone, but fuck it, you did it. you got in there, and you've been doing amazing things. I want to look over here at the QA really quick. There is a question in here. There's also a comment, so I'm going to read the question, and then I'm going to read the comment, and then I want to get from the both of you what you think. So it says here, do you have any recommendations on getting management to support the additional training opportunity? So I'll read the comment here really quick. There's a comment from Roxy, and she says, I think there's a real argument to be had for retention, and I try to speak to them about making sure we give our employees opportunities to invest in themselves and in our county. What does it say? A highly trained workforce only makes our county city agency look better. So what are your thoughts?
Erika, I'll let you go first on this one.
Okay. I'm all about training, just being a training coordinator and industry standards. So I think it's important to show the reason why that we have this certain type of training. It might be for liability, it might be something in the industry that's going on. But I think the bottom line when it comes from a management perspective is about the cost. Is it worth it? You're spending most of the budget on that. So that's why it's great to know what the free opportunities are, because that's a better sell, and then save the money up for something that you really feel passionate about, and then you're able to put that investment, because just because the training comes out and it's $500 here, $500 there, that'll quickly eat up your budget. So you just have to be careful, and then really know the why behind why you want to pitch it, and think of anything that might come up that they're going to say no to, and kind of have that objective ready, that counter argument ready.
To add on to that, so I've always told Erika this, and I told everybody else this. So my mind works as a Rubik's Cube. So I like to think of all the different ways that everybody's going to answer back, and especially when they answer no, and when they go, but what about this? Hold on, I have an argument for that already. Okay, well, what about this? No, I've already thought that through. So having that argument ready. Also, training opportunities. We are only the current legacy of 911, but we've got a future ahead that we need to prepare for. We are just right now. So we've got to train that future that's going to take over, all those future telecommunicators that are going to move into management, all those future telecommunicators that are going to continue to make that change in the world within our industry. We've got to train them. And without that training, we're just going to stay stagnant. So making that argument that we've got to continue to do that training, it is hard with the money, but being able to show that argument of why we need those people to get trained in order to better ourselves and our future in 911, I feel like that's going to be a big change.
Awesome. Excellent. Let me look back over here in the chat. Yeah, so great information. Everyone's saying great presentation, great information. And the way Roxy is saying exactly, we can't be here forever. And no is just not right now. Keep asking. Mm-hmm. Yes,
absolutely,
definitely. Yeah, this is really good, because when I was in dispatch, there were some trainings and stuff that we brought in, and ones that we went to, but it wasn't anything like out of state. For the longest time, I didn't even know that Nina or APCO or anything like that existed. It wasn't until the last year and a half that I was dispatching that I ended up going to a NINA conference in Michigan. I went twice. So actually the last 2 years. So I went twice. And but even the second one, which was close to the time that I was my dispatching career was over. I didn't even know there was a mothership. I didn't know there was a national office. I just thought every state just had their chapter. So it's always good to do that research, but also to hear stories like the both of yours, to learn from you, to see all these resources and what can be done, because you don't know what you don't know, and
Mhm.
sometimes people don't know where to even start. So all of this information that you put out there is just great. So thank you both for coming on and for creating this presentation, but also just being open and sharing your story with everyone.
And thank you for allowing us the platform to do so. Because without this, I mean, we wouldn't be able to get out and actually share our experiences. And hopefully, our story can kind of push that next person who's been considering doing it and they're just kind of like on the edge, on the cliff. They're just kind of like, I don't want to do it. And it's just like, oh, well, fuck it, I can do it. If they did it, I can do it. So
Right.
hopefully it pushes somebody over that cliff to just jump.
What
Not
would Yas
really
and Erika
jump,
say?
not really jump, but I just have to put it out there. We're in the industry. We all know what we're talking about.
That's right.
But jumping into that mountain of success and just start climbing.
Mhm.
Perfect. Well, thank you both once again, and thank you all of you for tuning in. It's crazy that this is already it. This is the end of Dare to Be Great for Era of the Headset, and there will be in just a little bit an After the Greatness live. I'm going to combine After the Greatness and Open Mic Live tonight because it is Thursday, and I'm going to be going early, so 7 o'clock. If you registered for that $500 giveaway that was on the podcast Facebook page, make sure that you are there during the live broadcast because you have to be present to win. If you're not in there, it's going to the next person. So make sure that you are there. I also want to say that for this whole week, we've had people from around the world attending. So we've got the United States, we've got Canada, Brazil, the United Kingdom, Spain, Iceland, Germany, Qatar, and South Korea. Wow. Amazing. Awesome stuff. Again, all over who have been here. And I want to share one thing with you really quick before we go off air here. And let me pull it up on the screen. So you get to hear it here first. Dare to Be Great 5 will be coming 2023, December 4th through the 7th. Thank you all so very much for the support, and make sure to check out Dare to Be Great 1 through 4. We will see you next year, and also 1 through 3. I'm going to add it to the Within the Trenches Media YouTube channel, and then after a few weeks, all of the ones from 4 will go on there, so it is a lot easier for people to access them and view them whenever they want. Certificates for Dare to Be Great 4 will end up going out in 2 weeks. It's going to be part of an email that I send out in 2 weeks, and you'll be able to get it. But here you go. People have been asking for it, so we're going to do this annually. Here it is. Dare to Be Great 5 coming up next year. Have a good one, everyone. Thank you all for being here. It has been amazing. Have a good night.